Today we're going to be going over some fantastic complement pulling fragrances that just work really well right now, meaning these are all up-to-date, modern smelling fragrances that just go with the flow. They go with the current fragrance trends that we're kind of dealing with right now. So we're pretty well up to date. Don't really have anything that could maybe smell a little bit old school or outdated. These are very much just trendy in their sense that a lot of people are either talking about or they just fit into the categories that a lot of us are talking about. Either, kind of fresh aquatic with that little bit of a bubblegummy feel, or, some of the sweeter style scents that we're very much used to. We're actually going to get things kicked off with one of the scents that I just took with me on vacation, and I'm also going to make this my scent of the day as well. It's Invictus Aqua 2024 by Rabanne. Brought back the frosted glass, a little bit of an update on the top of the bottle here. You have the Rabanne logo there, and then it just says Invictus right there, obviously. Frosted glass. Now, this is one that I brought with me. I also brought Aqua de Joe Parfum for anybody who was curious about what I took, but this type of thing here smells so good and doesn't really need to be explained a whole lot. This type of smell has existed and several other fragrances over the years. Rasasi Howis is another one that is very common, also one that works great. What I love so much about the DNA is the fact that it just has this aquatic freshness and this kind of playful, refreshing smell, but there is still a little bit of a sweet component as well. Not to the point where it doesn't work well in the heat or out in the sun, because it does, but just enough to give it a little bit of a different twist on a summer scent, because the aquatic DNA or the aquatic genre is one of the most popular common smells out there. But to have something like this, which just kind of shakes things up a little bit, to me is very appealing. Not to mention, you can't go wrong with this stuff in terms of projection and longevity. I mean, it will last for so long on skin. It will last even longer on clothing. Like I've been able to smell this on, like a t-shirt or something several days after applying it the first time. So it really does hang around on fabric. Performs great on skin, great projection, will last all day long. And, I've said this before with Invictus Aqua 2016, is it's a little bit water resistant. So this is one that you could wear in the pool or in the lake or whatever. And if you get splashed a little bit, it's not just going to wear off immediately. Great compliment getter, and one that I would recommend getting before they take it away again. This next one is Eros Eau de Parfum by Versace. You could go for the original EDT. You could go for the EDP, the Parfum, Flame, Energy. I mean, really, I guess you could just go for any Eros in terms of getting compliments. They're all going to work. Eros Najim might be a little bit more unique, but this main line here, they're all going to work. It has the apple, vanilla, tonka bean sweetness and minty green freshness that we have come to expect out of an Eros scent. That's what you get here in this Eau de Parfum, and it's basically just taking that Eau de Toilette DNA and just adding in a little bit more depth behind it, and also maybe patching the performance that has been lost over the years due to reformulations within the EDT. This EDP does perform better than probably modern day batches of just the Eau de Toilette. Can it compete with OG Eros from back in the day? I don't know, but this stuff is plenty strong now, and it smells great. Going to be more on the playful side here, kind of like Invictus Aqua is. And you'll find that with a lot of these, they are a little bit more youthful smelling. That's just kind of, again, that's the trend that we're in right now. And so I'm trying to make sure that these stay adaptive to that for the most part. And if you're somebody who ultimately doesn't really care a whole lot, you just want to buy something that is going to smell good to people around you and you don't have to worry about it, something like Eros Eau de Parfum is a great one to go after. And these days on discounters, you can usually pick it up for around, I don't know, probably $50 or so. Let's go for something even more affordable. I don't know, usually $35 to $40. It's Halloween Man X, has whiskey, tonka bean, and basically some coffee too. So you kind of get this unique coffee, dusty, powdery gourmand smell with a little splash of whiskey off the top, and then a sweet powdery tonka bean, and I don't know, just a little bit of vanilla as well. You usually don't get scents within this category at this good of a price. Mostly when you start looking at your whiskey scents, coffee scents, whatever, they're going to be more expensive. You know, they could be $60, $70, $80, or just well up into the niche category pricing, but not this one. This has always been affordable, and that's one of the things that make this so appealing, is the fact that you can get this 125 ml bottle for, again, around $35 to $40, and it's a great smelling coffee whiskey scent. It's only an eau de toilette concentration, but it actually performs really good as well. Not completely beast mode compared to maybe some other scents out there, but it definitely will get you through a day and give you plenty of projection to get noticed and stand out. All right, we're gonna stick with that price point and this kind of trend, and then we're gonna switch it up a little bit on this next one here, but we'll get back to it. It's Ferragamo Uomo by, of course, Ferragamo. Same price point, usually around $35 or so. Absolutely beast mode scent. This and Signature are two of the best and two of the strongest within the line. The other two that they have, Casual Life, Urban Feel, they're fresher and still good performing, but just not nearly as strong as these. And I do wish that they would focus on this lineup a little bit more. They stopped after those, and I think that in this world of flankers that we're in, they could really come back and make a Ferragamo Uomo Parfum or an elixir or something. I mean, really, I think they shouldn't abandon this DNA because it's really good. This one has tonka bean, cardamom, ambroxan, and sweet notes, and yes, it definitely is very, very sweet. Kind of has this tiramisu gourmand type of smell, making it delicious and edible. This is one that not only turns heads, but it just kind of draws people in too. It's one of those things where you catch a whiff of it and then people are just really kind of intrigued by it, and they want to know what it is, right? Because this is not something that you smell every day. It's not a Sauvage. It's not a Dylan Blue, Bleu de Chanel type of variant where it's just fresh, clean out of the shower, soapy, that could almost be mistaken as like a deodorant or just, you know, a shower gel of some sort. This, you know, there is no body wash or deodorant in existence that smells anything like this that I'm aware of. It's just something completely different, and that's why it works so well, because it really gets people's attention. Again, at this price point, you can't go wrong. Big compliment getter for fall and winter. All right, this next one might be a little bit more mature, maybe, but just different, a little bit more out there. It's technically niche, but it's not all that expensive, usually just a touch under $100 on discounters, I believe. It's Carner Barcelona Elborn. Man, this is one of the most rich, full-bodied bourbon vanilla fragrances that I have ever smelled. This one has vanilla, Peru balsam, honey, and what else? We got some benzoin in there too. So that kind of, well, it goes along with the vanilla, but just this syrupy, sweet, potent, rich vanilla smell. And like I said, to me, it's like a bourbon boozy vanilla, even though it's not officially listed off as far as I'm aware. But it just has that smell. That honey really, really helps give it that rich, strong, syrupy sweetness. Going back to what I was saying, this is going to be a little bit different. It's not quite as designer level as all of the designer fragrances we've talked about so far, but it is one I wanted to throw in if you wanted to maybe push the bar a little bit more. You wanted something that's going to stand out in a bit more of a unique way. Now, that being said, it still has this kind of alluring, delicious, and mysterious smell about it that makes it a perfect fit for this video. There's just something about this one that is captivating. It's just different. Going back to what I was saying about Ferragamo Uomo, there just aren't too many things out there that smells like this. And so when somebody gets a whiff of it, it's something that makes you scratch your head a little bit. Another great performer here, let's see, the concentration is not on the bottom of the bottle. So I'm going to guess probably an eau de parfum. That's just my guess. But nonetheless, it is a really strong performer as well. It really does last a long time. Projection is softer, but the longevity is amazing. All right, kind of going back on track with modern day style scents a little bit more so. It is Azzaro Forever Wanted Elixir coming in at a parfum. Look at that bottle, just pure gold, really cool, definitely stands out. It's all about the raspberry and the leather, and that's really what this one is known for. And it takes a big step away from the rest of the line, which is okay. I think that we have kind of gotten to that point now where flankers could either really stick true to that original and keep playing on that, or they could take a big departure from the lineup. And I think that with these elixirs and stuff, we've seen it with Sauvage Elixir, we've seen it with several others where they really take a big step away from the core lineup. That's just kind of the direction that we're going with flankers now. Instead of starting a new fragrance line, they just create a new flanker and essentially create an entirely different smell. And that's okay. So it's sweet from this nice fruity raspberry note, has a little bit of a masculine leather undertone, but the leather is not animalic. It's not too, earthy or strong or anything like that. It's a very mild leather accord. And then, as you could probably imagine, a bit of a kind of tonka bean combo going on in here as well. This is one of my favorites. I would say this and the Most Wanted Parfum and Wanted by Night are my top 3 in no particular order. And as far as this video goes for compliments, you could not go wrong with either of those. Let's move into more of a classic, but it is still very much a trendy smelling scent. Gentleman Eau de Parfum by Givenchy. Sticking with that iris, the vanilla, a little bit of patchouli in here, but basically it really is about the vanilla. Now, it is kind of their take on an iris scent, kind of capturing that trend that Dior Homme Intense was really starting to ramp up with. But what they're doing here is they're just giving you more of a vanilla black pepper type of focus to just make it more designer level. And they're both designers, but this one is just going to be way more approachable, more of the type of scent that you could walk into a store and try and just be more so guaranteed to like it. Dior Homme Intense takes a little bit more of a specific person and even maybe a specific time of year or situation to wear it. I think you could pull off Gentleman EDP a lot more. And just that vanilla in here mixed with that nice hint of iris, not too crazy, but it is there. It smells amazing. I think you're usually looking at around, I don't know, it's like $60 to $70 maybe these days for 100 ml. Obviously, Eau de Parfum concentration, nice performer, great quality. You really can't go wrong with most Givenchy fragrances. They do a really good job. This one's kind of tried and true. It's guaranteed to work. Let's go for something cheap again. We have Karl Lagerfeld Bois d'Ambre. This is a 50 ml bottle here. Would not really recommend going for the 50 just because the price per milliliter is kind of bad in comparison to the 100, but this is all that I could get at the time. So this one has amber, a clary sage. You get a little bit of orange and bergamot as well, some cedar wood too. Nice thing is it's a tester, so I could just read right off the back. You didn't think I memorized all that, did you? But I've seen it compared to a couple different things. I've seen Dolce & Gabbana the One, kind of a stretch. Now, yes, it does focus on the amber, okay? There is some woods in here and a little bit of a citrus. I didn't say grapefruit, but there is an orange, a bergamot. The One opens up with a little bit of grapefruit. Again, cedarwood, amber, tonka bean. I could see where people are maybe kind of putting that together, and maybe even the coloration. Some people are saying, oh, Dolce & Gabbana the One looking. Not that simple though. There's no tobacco in here. It doesn't have that same type of appeal. But it is a nice woody, ambery scent with a little bit of a bright, fresh opening. It smells great off the opening, and it smells even better in the dry down. For the price that this goes for, which is usually $20 to $30, you can't beat this stuff. It's a great compliment getter, an even decent performer too. Eau de toilette, so nothing too crazy, but it does get the job done, especially at this price point. I really can't complain too much. Speaking of a good price point, we'll stick with Al Haramain Detour Noir. $20 usually is where I've seen it, 20 to 25 most of the times where you're going to be paying. And it's a fantastic Parfums de Marly Layton clone. Layton, of course, is well over $200. Not going to be in most people's price range, and it just doesn't need to be, truthfully. When you have something that is this good, this accurate, this strong performing, this good of quality for the money, it just kind of makes the need for Layton less strong. And it still does have that kind of menthol green smell, like feeling that you get from Layton. This even has that as well. So it just really got it down almost exact. It's again, one of the best Layton clones out there, especially for the money. And it's a great compliment getter. That's why Layton is so popular, because everybody loves it. Everybody loves this too because it smells almost exactly the same. And again, fraction of the cost here. Last up for this video, we have Herrera 212 VIP Black. Cool bottle. These are magnetic caps as well. really heavy duty too. I'll tell you, they did not cheap out on the presentation at all. Heavy, thick glass, a lot of excess material down here, adding to that weight. Obviously, that is more of a cost, so it's kind of cool that they do that. And these aren't really horribly priced on discounters either. Usually, I don't know, $60, $70. I guess they're a little bit up there, but nothing crazy in today's standards. This one has lavender, vanilla, anise. It's aromatic, fresh with a hint of a sweetness. Kind of a different style scent here. It's fresher than what you would think, honestly, just based off of maybe the name, the bottle, even the note breakdown. You see the vanilla and stuff, but you also see the lavender and some of the other fresher notes, and you're not really sure which way it's going to go. Well, it goes about the way that maybe you would expect, although maybe not. Again, like I said, it's not as sweet as you would think. It's really right down the middle. It has a bit of a freshness, bit of a sweetness. That combination works really well for complement factor because you're appealing to people who like fresh fragrances and you're appealing to people who like sweet fragrances. And sometimes if you get the balance just right, somebody who isn't a big fan of sweet fragrances would still probably like this one because it's balanced out and there's enough going on, and vice versa as well. So this type of thing is definitely a big people pleaser, a good performer as well. I already mentioned the nice presentation. This is just one that you can't go wrong with. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. Some great compliment pullers that everybody's going to love the smell of. I am going to put links to each and every one of these down below. If you want to do some shopping, you can pick them up there. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.